that's supposed to mean? What up, Brody? Oh, W's in the chat, not Westside. Jesus Christ. You gotta put a capital or an apostrophe. Threw me off. What up, Jordan? What up, what up, what up? I'm trying to make sure that I'm on the right live because when I refresh this on my YouTube channel, it's saying upcoming still. Okay, here we go. Alright. I see I got my actual chat on the screen this time, so we're already doing better than we were last week. I am now live. I'm going to give it a little bit of time, maybe a couple minutes to see if we can get some more people in here, and if not, I'm going to go ahead and not waste your time. I got stuff going on too. I will say while we're waiting though, I'll go over the agenda for the day. So the plan is to review last week's trades in addition to talking about the thumbnails that I had. So I went over last week's trades, and I watched the video from last week, and so if you ever want to come back and like look at certain things within my video, I have like timestamps on here to allow you to go straight to it. In addition to that, you can kind of hover over and it'll show you like what's going on at that point in the video, so that we don't have to watch 2 hours worth. So we'll look through this as we talk about a lot of the winning trades that I called out. We'll go over that. Like I said, I'll look at my trade journal with you guys to show you the trades that I took this week, and then we'll talk about all the trades that I called that hit. And then after that, if there are no questions, we will move into the analysis for this week, and that'll be the day, the evening. Y'all can go on about your shenanigans. Are there any questions thus far? Could we get some shout outs? Throw some threes in the chat if y'all are hyped for the session. Let's get some interaction in this chat. Hey, living. Is the audio okay? Y'all can hear good? That's my favorite number. Why not? Alright, it is 5:02, so I'm gonna give it 2 more minutes and then I'm going to go ahead and start. I feel like this should tell me how many people are in here, but it doesn't. I have to like go to the YouTube channel to see that. Alright, we got 4. What up, what up? Throw some threes in the chat. I see we have 1 person throwing a 3 and 4 people on, but it's all good. For those of you just coming in, I was going over the agenda for the day, so my plan is to go over my previous trades from last week, talk through the trades that I took, and then show you the actual trades themselves, and then we're going to revisit the last week's trades and show you guys where you could have entered and how you could have made the money from it. What up, Jan? Tell me how you living. Nice to see you in here. Alright, and again, for those coming in, as I watched last week's videos, I realized that I was kind of going pretty fast, and so if at any point you're confused on what it is I'm talking about, feel free to either throw a snail in the chat to tell me to slow down, or just ask the questions on whatever it is you might be confused on. But again, I'm going to give it 1 more minute, and then we will get started. Can you guys hear me alright, and is the music too loud? Or is everything good for audio? Alright, well, I don't hear anything or see anything, and it is 5:04, so I'm not going to waste y'all time. Anybody jumping on late, hopefully you catch it in the recording. So yeah, like I said, first thing I want to do is go over the thumbnails. So if you ever do come to an older video on my channel, you can just hit this, the comments, not the comments, but the title for the video. And if you want to see anything specific, it'll have it. So obviously the intro, I'll talk about trade journaling and the importance of it, my company that I'm funded through. But I guess to kind of jump right into it, I'll review my trades first, but I wanted to show you guys this in case you ever need to use it, and we'll use that today as well. So I've already filtered out my trades for the week. So as you can see, the first trade was taken on the 3rd of June, which was Monday. And I only took trades up till, I think Wednesday was the 4th. Or no, just Monday and Tuesday are the only trades I took. And I ended up having a 2R week. I took 4 trades on Monday and then 2 trades on Tuesday. And the trades that I took on Monday, 2 of them won. Actually, all 3 of them lost. I'm sorry, I took 4 on Monday. 3 of them lost, 1 won. And then, so this is the first trade. It was an EU sell. I was expecting price to hold this level. As you can see, it broke down. And I was expecting it to hold, so I tried to get in here, and it did not, and it went through. So that was my first loss, and I actually tried to re-enter on that again. So as you can see, price came up to here. I have this higher high identified as a level, so I wasn't expecting price to go past there. And as you may have realized on my last videos, I talk about this type of candle right here when it's this very small body and wicks on both ends. That's called a doji candle, and those usually show signs of a reversal, especially if it's at or near an area of interest. As you can see, it kind of happened here. This one right here happened, and then the trade reversed. So I was expecting that here, and it didn't go my way, so I lost EU twice. And then this EURGBP, we'll get into it in more depth, but I actually took this trade late. Up here, when we analyze the rest of the market, you'll see this is where I should have taken the trade, and I was playing basketball that morning, and so I missed the trade. But I ended up entering the trade late, and I got stopped out, barely stopped out, and then it ended up going to my TP anyways. But we'll go into more detail on that. So those were my 3 losses for the week, and then I ended up taking 3 more trades, 1 more on that Monday, and then 2 more Tuesday. And then this was the trade I took on Monday that was a winner. So this ended up closing out cleaning up my losses, at least 2 of them. As you can see, it ended up going all the way to TP. And then this was another one on US30. So I actually took this twice on 2 different accounts. So I'm funded on 2 accounts, one $70,000 account and then 125K. So this smaller one I took on the 70K, and this larger one I took on the 125. So as you see, the smaller one hit pretty fast, but the larger one, I actually had to hold that for a while. This is the entry for the large account, and then this was the final product. So I had a lot of, so this was the 4th around noon is when I took the trade, and then on the 6th around like 11:30 I finally got the profit. So this ended up cleaning up both my losses, and these were my trades for the week. I had 3 losses, all 1R, but then 3 wins that were more than 1R, so it ended up balancing me out, and I had a 2.2R week, I guess you could say. Now, let's go into the sauce on how I called a lot more trades that I actually didn't take. And so like I was saying here, we'll start with GU. So I had predicted a GU buy during my trade analysis, and I'm going to mute this so you can hear what I'm saying. So basically, I just kind of want you to see this drawing. So as you can see, this was on Sunday at I feel like my clock should be somewhere around here, but it was on Sunday around this time, like 1700, 5 p.m. And you'll see that this is exactly where price actively was at that time. And then I drew this line because I was expecting price to come back down to this area and then go back up. And so, that's just kind of what I predicted, and I was going to wait for the trade setup. For some reason, I think I just didn't set an alert on that. But then as we go to GU, yeah, exactly. It's a good thing I didn't go break even. That's what I was telling you. I've been debating just not ever going break even. But so that GU trade that you've seen that I predicted, this is the exact spot. So if you notice, the price at that time was 27254. That was the entry that I was looking for. And so if you look at my actual GU trade, I never even moved that 27254. And then later on in that day, or I think it ended up showing up on Monday. So if you look at these candlesticks, this candlestick right here was Sunday, and it closed at 2100, 9 p.m. And then it came down like to the exact area that I was looking for. And I didn't take the trade on the smaller time frame. This would have been a real easy, because we always would enter on a lower time frame. So on the lower time frame, this would have been a very easy entry. And so like I said, I like to look for the doji candles. It printed 3 of them before it ended up going. So this is in hindsight. So now if I was actually at the market at this time, 6:30 in the morning, I was actually playing basketball at this time. So if I would have just been at the markets, even if I got in on this trade late and took it here, This would have been a very easy 1 to 2 trade. Give me that. Oh, okay. If I would have taken it that late, I might have still been in it right now. Yeah. Oh no, I would have still. It would have ended up giving it to me at the end of the week on Friday. But if I would have taken it early, I realistically would have taken it down here. It would have definitely gave me a 1 to 2, which is what I like to go for. So I just wanted to show that was the first trade that I called that played out perfectly. And so now that that's there, I'm going to just go ahead and remove all of this. But I just wanted to show that was the first trade I called. The next one, UCAD. This is a trade that I actually did take. And so again, like I predicted it here. You see that I had these drawings already set up. You know, this was Sunday around 5 p.m. And so this was the first one that I had drawn up. Okay, so yeah, you see this is where I had UCAD aligned. So right here at this point. And so now I'm going to go to what actually happened in the market. So this is the actual market. I'll go to the 4 hours so you can kind of see it the same way. And same thing. And I actually, I like to enter during London session or New York session, which on the East Coast, it will be 2 a.m. is when London session starts. And then 2 p.m. is when the high volume in the market starts to die off. So during London session is when I like to trade. If you notice, this trade presented itself around Asian session, which was around like 9 or 10 p.m. on Sunday night. So I did this analysis with you all last week around this time. So you see this is like Sunday, the timestamp at the bottom, 16:30. So this is when I did the analysis. That's why you see the blue arrow starting to get pulled here. And this was the time I literally was laying down getting ready for bed and I seen this. And again, the entries that I like to look for are depletion candles or dojis, which you'll call these, and they're near an area of interest. So last week I had this blue line highlighted and this black hard line highlighted as my areas of interest, or in this case a support level. And so this was a textbook entry, but it was Asian session, which is the time I don't like to enter the market. And so I decided to not take the trade at this time. So that's why I have all this should have entered here, was scared about session. But nonetheless, I did end up getting it later on. So this was around 10 or 11 o'clock on Monday morning or afternoon at this point. And I did take it a little bit later, but nonetheless, it still ended up giving me my TP. I think I might have closed this early, but even if I would have held it to the actual TP, you see it would have hit. And I think this line, this drawing right here, is the trade that I actually was trying to set up. This is what I was expecting, and this is what I think I posted on the live. So that was trade number 2 that I called, and it hit. So I'm going to remove that, and then we're going to move to the next one. I think it was GBP CAD. This was an analysis. I don't think I took this up. I don't really care to go into this one. I think it was just me analyzing it. But EURGBP, this one right here was wild. Like how perfectly I predicted and called this trade was nice. And I actually have it as sauce right here because it was like, it doesn't get more textbook, and it feels good to see my trades go the way that I'm expecting them. And there's a level of, there was a strong level area of interest, so it was support. So I'm just speaking on support levels and resistance levels, and where I'm waiting to see if price reacts at those levels. And so all of these chemicals right here. So this is fast forward this a little bit. Because I'll put the drawing there. And granted, it did close above, which made it bullish, but then it broke back down. It actually here. All right, so look. And goes back. Way I'd be interested in this trade, and I really think it's going to cross. And if it becomes here again and goes back down, or if it goes down, breaks this strong ass level of support, and I can get a retest, and then it comes back down. These are the 2 ways that I would take this trade. And what's wild is they literally played out just like that. So I'm going to go to the actual EURGBP pair, and so I haven't even moved it. So it kind of did both things that I was looking for. At this point, the pullback was a lot deeper than I thought, but like I said, I wanted to be in this trade up here, and my dumb ass was playing basketball and missed it. So you'll see that trade played out at 5:30, and that's like I am usually on the road to go hoop at 5, and I'm in there around 5:30. So it showed up here. Again, this kind of candlestick that you look for is called a doji, spinning top, or depletion, any of those 3. All it means is that you notice that the candles to the left and the right of it are a lot bigger, and they have more size to them, right? So like obviously this big blue block, this big red block, and then the wicks on each side are small. But when you see a candle that has hardly any body and a huge wicks, those are really big signs of reversal. You see it happen here as well. And this is the Friday previous. This was the Sunday when I was doing the analysis, and I was expecting it to come here. It did that perfectly. I got into it late because I was playing basketball, and I ended up losing the trade. And then I just never took it again. But I did leave the drawings up just because it gives me confidence to see this kind of stuff, and then seeing that, you know, if I would have just trusted the analysis, it would have played out and X, Y, Z. And so, yeah, it didn't end up coming all the way back, but it did go through that strong level, and as you can see, it pumped hard afterwards. But I took this loss, and I just had to let the trade go. But I was on the right side of the market, and I still had a profitable week, which is cool. And that's all I really want to touch on for the previous week's trades. Again, if you want to review these, this is on my last week's, and I have like timestamps for you now. Oh, I'm sorry, I took the US30 trade as well, and I predicted the same stuff though. It breaks through a support level, and then I was looking for a pullback. That's what I talk about. It's me rambling, but I'm talking about how I was waiting for a pullback and looking for a reaction. Okay, now I'm just talking. So yeah, I was basically saying I was waiting for a pullback in the reaction, and if you'll notice on the 4-hour time frame, at that time on that Sunday when I was speaking on that, it was here. The 2nd of June, yeah. So it happened here, and I got the pullback. It came up and it held that level. So on the smaller time frame, that doji candle that I was speaking of, it doesn't look as clear on the higher time frames, but we always enter on the lower. So if you look onto the lower time frames, it was, and you know, things in the market are never perfect, right? But you'll see that the level that I drew, that I had identified as a support level, it broke a little bit below that. But I seen a doji candle here, and then 2 smaller candles that had doji in a sense, meaning that it has wicks on both sides, and then another one here. So that gave me the confidence to just put my stop loss well below that level, because it's still kind of respecting this level, and just take the trade and let it run out and let it play. And so those were the trades that I took from last week. I'm going to delete all these drawings and review the market for the upcoming week, and I will open the floor for questions. If you guys have any questions about anything that I talked on so far, or just questions about trading in general, let me know. And if not, I will just go ahead and start analyzing the market. The way I plan on doing it is just talking out what I'm doing, what I look for each week, and then I'll have, you know, my top 2 or 3 or 4, however many pairs end up showing me that there's a good opportunity to take a trade for this upcoming week. And if there are no questions, again, I'll just talk it out, and then if there's still no questions, I'll hop off, and then yeah, that'll be it. So I'm gonna delete everything and then kind of look through the weeks, look through the charts, and just reanalyze everything fresh to give y'all the reps, give myself the reps, and then I can do. Let's see what we got in here. Since nobody's talking in the chat, I got 7 people watching and nobody's responding. I feel like a weirdo. But if y'all want to just sit there silently, that's cool too. I definitely wish I would have set some alerts on my previous, I think it was GU that I should have taken that I ended up not. But yeah, let me put this music back on since y'all just sitting here staring at me. Another thing too, as I was kind of reviewing my video from last week, I realized that I talk extremely fast. So now that some more of y'all are on, once I start to actually analyze the charts, because I'm so comfortable doing it, I might go kind of fast, and I may say some terms that are appreciate it, CJ. I got hell of them too. I got to put those over here. I had them all named, but I don't forgot. Oh, Lordy, but I forgot them now. But yeah, we were over here. You know what I'm saying? Good for the air. But like I was saying, there is oftentimes I talk really fast, and because I'm really comfortable with analyzing the markets, sometimes I might say words that are foreign to you, or you know, just speak stuff too quick. So if at any point I'm saying terms that don't make sense and you have a question, feel free to stop me. Or if I'm just talking too fast, like I said, throw a what up, Drake? Throw a snail in the chat to just let me know to slow down. And again, feel free to ask questions. But yeah, so I have all my pairs removed for the analysis, and I definitely, so far, I'm actually seeing some good stuff. So we might be able to do some analysis this week. Um, Alright, so we want the calls, we came to get the money. Alright, say less. Alright, so let's get into it. I'm going to start off at USD CAD. So the way that I like to analyze the charts is I go from a top-down analysis. So I'll start with the weekly, move to the daily, and then the 4 hour. So I will always analyze these 3 time frames. And all I'm looking for is the direction of the trend. So if it's an uptrend or a downtrend, it's as simple as that. Alright? And again, if you got questions, let me know. So I'm going to go ahead and start. So on USD CAD, what I like to do to find a trend is I find the highest or lowest point in the market, and then I just kind of work all the way to the current price at that time. So we'll just kind of start back here to make things clear. So this right here is the highest point. This goes all the way back to October of 2022. So I would say that that's pretty safe to look at data that far back. So if this was the higher high, this right here would be the higher low, or this would be the higher low, whichever one you would consider. I'm going to personally consider this one because it looks like it was a level that was held. So I'm going to use that as my higher low. And then from there, you just look to see if price ever broke above that. And if it didn't, then this is currently in an uptrend. And it looks like it came close, but it did not break right here at this point. And to be honest, I could actually put this. So what I do with these, I always put this line on the candle close. So at this was the candle close. So this is the highest point, and the higher low below this. Nothing has broke above or below these levels. So the weekly is in an uptrend on UCAD. Weekly is so bullish. If you ever hear me say bullish, that means it's an uptrend or it's a long position. So I'm gonna need you to learn how to get in the chat, brother. So someone says, do you only do analysis once a week to set up all your targets, or do you do them more frequently? And that is a great question, bro. I actually only look at them on Sunday. And if sometimes there might be, like last week, a couple of these pairs I wasn't interested in because it was just like way too high up, and I like to take trades in areas of interest. So when there's like, this right here is kind of looking like a pullback, but I wouldn't be comfortable taking it because it's like, it could be a deeper pullback. So let's just say I analyze this pair. I would want it to come all the way back here before I'm interested in a buy. And so I would put an alert like around here to look for, buys at this time. And so like this could show up on like Wednesday. And so on Wednesday I would do some more analysis on this. But if not, I just kind of have my stuff set up like I did the previous week. And then I just kind of have my alerts already ready for me. So going back to UCAD, we have to identify the weekly as bullish, and so now we're just going to simply go down to the daily and see what trend we are in on the daily. Alright, so obviously this was a high, the highest point at this time, but then this was the higher low, and then price broke below, so this became a downtrend. And then if this was the higher low, this is the higher high at that time on the daily, and then price broke below again. So this is now the lower low, and this is now the lower high on the downtrend. So now we are in a downtrend this entire time until price breaks above this candlestick right here. So once price breaks above it, it now becomes an uptrend. And at this point right here, price broke above. So now this becomes the higher high, and this becomes the higher low. And this is a really tight range, but that's just the reality of how the market, you got to just respect the market structure. So this is the higher high, higher low, and until price breaks out of this, it's an uptrend, or continuing to be. So you see it happened again here. So price broke above here, then it broke again here. So this is the higher high, and now our higher low will be this point right here. Or honestly, I think it's safe to say this point. So this is the higher low. So now, again, we're waiting to see if price is going to break out of this level, and right now it has not. It's inside of it. So anything in between here is just market structure. So we have identified the daily is also bullish on USD CAD. So we're going to go daily is bullish. Hope you're feeling better, by the way, Drew. I definitely just told you need to learn how to chat, and Drew be hooping with me in the mornings, and we hooped on Monday, and my dog is like 6'5", and I think he was just shooting around and tweaked something. Was out of commission. Alright, so 4 hour. I can already see that this is bullish, but I'm going to do the analysis for y'all just to give you the reps. So I probably won't do the lines just because I want to go a little fast. We got a lot of pairs to go through. So this is the highest point at this time, and this is the higher low. Price broke below at this point, making this a downtrend. So this is the lower low and the lower high, and I'll mark that just so you can see, and then I'll just kind of walk through. So this is a downtrending market because it broke this low. So now this is the lower low, this is the lower high, and then price continued to stay in this until it broke here. So now that it broke here, this is the new lower low in this downtrend, and then this I would call the lower high. So we are in a downtrend until price either breaks below this to make it a further downtrend or above this to make it an uptrend. Alright, so at this point, this candlestick right here, it breaks above, so now we're in an uptrend. Candle closed above there, and now we're gonna track the most recent lower low. So this is the lower high at this point in the market, and this is the higher high, and then the lower high in an uptrend. Price broke again up here, so this is now a higher high, and this is a higher low in an uptrend. And then price broke below again here. As you guys can see, this gets pretty repetitive, but it's very important to make sure you have this right, because if you mess this up, then you will be fucked for the whole. You think you're ready for a buy, and you take a sell and be jacked up. I'm looking at the dates at the bottom. So do you always start from January, or is this just for the class today? So good question. Depending on the time frame will determine how far back dates are. I don't really ever try to give I don't ever try to base where I'm doing my analysis on a date. But if I'm like this far zoomed out, like I can't really tell what I'm looking at. And obviously this is just December of 2023, so really only 6 months ago. But on the weekly, that same type of zoom out would be a lot more substantial. So like, look, we're already in November of 2023, and that last one that I just showed you, like you can actually still do analysis on this. So and we did do analysis all the way back to 2022. So it really is just about whatever size monitor you have, like zoom in to where it makes sense, because you want to really look at where price is currently. So if price is currently at this point, I'm not really too interested on what happened down here, because price is nowhere near there. So we want to just kind of look at data in between where price currently is. So like this is just for the weekly what I'd be comfortable analyzing, because I'm just trying to understand the trend at that time on that time frame. I hope that answers your question, and if it doesn't, please feel free to ask again. And so, but to your point, mom, I'm calling you mom, that's my mom, y'all. So on the 4 hour time frame, that same type of zoom out is only going to get me to last month or 2 months ago. But this, I would even argue, is probably too much data to be analyzing on the 4 hour time frame. So you kind of want to always zoom in on whatever time frame you're at, because you're worried about where price is currently at that time. And so I think we were on the 4 hour trying to identify, and I was just giving you guys the step by step to understand what trend we're in at the time. So again, on the 4 hour, I think we had identified it just became a downtrend because it broke the previous low, which was the uptrend. The minute that candle closes below that structure point, it becomes a downtrend. So we are now in a downtrending market until price breaks below that area. And so it did right here a couple times, so we're going to just trap price in that area. So now this is the lower low, and this is still the lower high, or you could use this as the lower high, whichever you prefer. It's sometimes subjective. And then price broke above again, so now it's an uptrend. So now this is the higher high at this point, and this is the higher low until price breaks below, which it did again here. So now this is the lower low at this point, and we're in a downtrend, and this is the lower high. And then this was a downtrend until price broke above. So price broke above here, and then it broke again. It broke above again here. So we are currently in an uptrend on the 4 hour as well. So now we have 3 time frames in sync, which is golden, and usually what you always want to see when you're looking for trades. If you have 3 time frames in sync, it's gold. Then you just want to look for entries. Personally, I would be only interested in taking buys on this, and if price came back to a structure point, because even though all 3 time frames are bullish, you don't want to just go ahead and place a buy, because you won't really know where to put your stop loss. The way I like to trade, and Drew, I believe you asked me this last week, is where do I put my stop loss? And I always want it behind structure. So I would have to have 104 pip stop loss in order to safely take this trade. And I'm expecting price to react at this at this area of interest here. I think it was a high or a low on the daily or on the weekly. And so this is not good risk to reward. You're only getting the 0.5 R return on this trade. And so I would rather see price come back to at least this area and then go up. Or sometimes when you're analyzing and you're looking for areas of interest, and if it misses one, you can expect it to kind of pull back to another one. So like I was saying last week, areas of interest are just support and resistance levels. So truthfully, I'm not really interested in this. I already got a win on it last week, and so I would, like I said, want to see price pull back a lot more before I'm interested on buys. But this is definitely a bullish market. All 3 time frames are bullish, and now you just want to wait on a pullback so that you can, take a better risk to reward trade. So, yeah, I don't think I'd be interested in this even up here. I probably would want it to come back down to this level and then go up. But we are super bullish in every time frame. And so what I like to do here is I'll set an alert. And I just say look for buys, and I'm just looking for those buys once price comes back down to this area. And so same kind of stuff that I did last week. And so now, because this is an area of interest or a support level, I would actually be okay taking a trade around here, because you see there's a lot of candle closes that failed to break below during this time. So like all of this kind of held here. Once it broke through, it went for a little bit, which I like to see as well. You've seen rejection here. So it's like support, and then it turns into resistance, and then the support turns into resistance, and now it's holding at support. So if I can see price come back down here, I would be interested, put my stop loss below this area of interest. So now we are only looking at like a 25 to 30 pip stop loss, but we have a 3R trade now in the same spot. Or if we took it all the way to the target of 5R, but I don't go for 2, so my chances of getting this trade is pretty high. All right, that was what up, Mark? Now that's money bags right there, y'all. Me and Mark worked together, and I used to pick that man's brain. Boy, he's funded. He's a funded trader as well. But yeah, oh yeah, Jordan FX, he a funded trader too. We all out here trying to get it. But yeah, so if there's no questions on how I analyze that, I kind of went into good detail on how I look at my higher time frames. And I did that for UCAD, and again, I'm not really too interested in this until I see something pull back. And so I'm going to go into all the other pairs, and I'm going to go a little bit faster, but I'll still talk out what I'm doing. I might not do the lines, and again, if you have questions at any point, feel free to ask. And if not, I will get what I'm getting good. So this looking real good for sales. GU. On the weekly, it is bearish. Alright, so the way I knew that is because this is the high point, this is the low. Price broke below, so this is a bearish market. So this is the low, a lower low on the weekly, and this is the lower high. And as you can see, price is still in between that. So I'm not going to say too much past that, but we're just going to identify the weekly as bearish. Now we're going to move on to the daily. So same thing, so daily, this is the highest point that I can see from the data. So this is the high and this is the low. Price broke below at this point, so now this is the low and this is the high. Price broke below again, this is the low and this is the high. And then price broke above here, so now this is the highest high. And then this is the higher low. Technically, but this is only one candle. I'm going to use this as the higher low. So we are bullish on the daily because it broke below, and this is the lower high at that point, and it broke above again. So the daily is now bullish. Daily is bullish, and I swear to you, this is all I do. And then if you guys have questions on the entry, like I said, it's pretty straightforward. And for those who came in late, I showed it on my review. But if you missed it and you want to see it, you can come here and you can look at my charts. Well, actually, I don't really go into. You can actually go back and watch this video. I'll have the same kind of timestamps here, and I'll talk about how I enter and what I look for. I'll put something like that on here. But yeah, so we've identified the daily as bullish, and then we're gonna go to the 4 hour and do the same thing. So the 4 hour, I'm trying to see if I want to consider this as a level. No, it actually don't even matter. The 4 hour is bullish too, because this is the highest point and this is the higher low, and price did not break below that and it's closed. So honestly, we have the daily and the 4 hour bullish on GU, which is nice, and it's starting to react. So this is actually the type of candles I look for. If this candlestick prints like a doji, like these right here, then I would be very interested in buy, because you see price, this is kind of an area of interest. It was holding as resistance here, and then it held real strong as support here. Granted, it closed below just a hair, so maybe this would be like a stronger level of support. And what I like to do when I'm doing support is I like kind of use this box to encompass all the candle closes, or as many as I can for it to make sense without it being like a humongous box. So you see this candle close was encompassed, all these candle closes were encompassed, these were encompassed. So this is a strong level of support. So if price can come down to here, I would be very interested in taking a buy like this on this pair. And granted, this area that it is at is kind of holding as well, but I would be more comfortable taking it here. But if I start to see candles like this, like a bunch of dojis in a row, like up here, then I would just take it here and I would just have a little bit bigger stop loss. Yeah, 26 pips, that ain't too bad. So if price can come down just a little bit more, I'd still take this trade. And then, like I said, I go for 1 to 2s, but you could take it all the way up to here. And as you start to look at it in perspective, on the dailies, it's really making a lower high to go even higher, and it could make a higher high up here. But to not go into the weeds too much, this is what I'm looking for on GU. And honestly, this can happen soon. So I'm going to leave this up here, and I'm going to put this green because I'm very interested on buys on that. So what I won't do is go hoop tomorrow morning. I'm going to actually watch this trade to see if I start to see this kind of reaction for tomorrow. But I do want to see if price, trying to see how I want to make this alert, to make sure I don't miss this. I think I do want to see it come a little deeper. So I think I'm going to say if price crosses below here, then I just want to start looking for buys. Alright, so yeah, so that's GU. EU we're going to now. I like to see this too, and I'm getting lazy. I need to put this right on there. So 4H is also bullish. No, 4H is bearish. No, it's bullish. I'm sorry to confuse you. So the highest point, just so you understand why I'm calling it bullish, this is the highest point in the market on the 4 hour time frame. So you always want to trap price from its highs and lows. So this is the higher high and this is the higher low. Price has not broken below this to make it a bearish market on the 4 hours, so this is still bullish on the 4 hour. And I like to put this here so when I show up to the charts, I'm not like trying to reanalyze everything, and that's why I also like to put these arrows. Like I'm interested in something like this, and this is why, because I have I have 2 time frames in sync, and then the weekly is bearish. But you know, as long as I have 2 time frames, then I'm good to take a trade. All right, so EU, same thing. We're going to start on the weekly. So this is the high point, this is the higher low, price broke below, this is the lower low, lower high. This is now a downtrending market or bearish. Alright, so we are bearish on the weekly because price broke below when it was bullish, and so it has not broken below this low or broken above this high. So on the weekly we are bearish. Look like it's almost a mirror of what we're looking at. So again, the high, this is the high point, and then this is the low. As you can see, price broke below here, so this becomes a bearish market. This is the lower high, price broke below again, so this is the lower low, and I would keep this as the lower high. Whether you wanted to have this as the lower high, it broke above regardless. So price broke above again here, which makes this a bullish market. and then I'm going to look at this as the lower high. So bullish at this point, high and low. But then, actually, yeah, so this is bullish, and then this is bearish. I mean, this is the higher high and then the higher low. But then price breaks below, so this becomes the lower low. I'll keep that as the lower high. Price breaks again, so this is now the new lower low, and this is the new lower high. And then you see price breaks above again here, and then it breaks again higher here. So this is actually a really tight market area. So I'm going to actually consider this as the lower high. And so then it was bullish, and as you, well, this candle is currently running on the daily, so we can't call this a bearish market yet because this candle hasn't closed. The market just opened. We still have 23 hours left until this candle closes, and it can very well make a wick like this and look like it was going to break and close below. But as of right now, the daily on EU is bearish until it closes below here. We are bullish. Actually, I'm going to zoom in on that because this candle, yeah, so this is the candle closes here, and price did not close below. But if it got, we would consider it literally down to the smallest pip. And so, yeah, it did not close below. And so, as of right now, we are bullish on the 4 hour. I mean, on the daily. We're going to do the same thing on the 4 hour. Now, see, this one is different. It did close below. So, you see it was bullish here. This is the highest point, and this is the higher low. But then price actually broke below at this point. You see it's lower than this candle. So, we're bearish on the 4 hour. Now, when I don't have two time frames in sync, I'm not interested in the pair at all. So we have a bearish market, then a bullish market, then a bearish market. If we had a bullish market on both the 4 hour and the daily, we would be interested. Or if we had a bearish both on the weekly and the daily, we'd be interested. But it cannot flip flop in order for me to take a trade, a high probability trade. So I'm gonna put this at the bottom. EURGBP. We're gonna do the same analysis. So this kind of stuff is kind of nice to see because I'm not going to do the analysis on this. This is obviously bearish and it's been pumping. So I want to see a pullback before I'm interested in this trade. So just to save us some time, I'm going to put an alert. And this is kind of answering your question earlier, Drew. I would come back and analyze this. If price comes back up to here, I would say look for sales. But obviously this level, like I predicted last week, this level held pretty strong. So honestly, it could pump for a minute. Like in the grand scheme of things, this was a very strong level of support. And usually when strong levels like that break, price like really goes. But it sometimes, more often than not, it has a pullback first. So I'm gonna keep that area of interest that I had earlier. Some more of these candle closes. And so yeah, if price comes back to here like this, I'd be interested. Yeah, I want to see it pull back into that area. And if it doesn't pull back into that area, what you can do if you really believe that pairs are going to go lower, you can look for another area of support like that, which I don't really see one too strong. So I'm just going to, if it doesn't come back there, I'm going to have to wait for it to kind of create more structure and then look for it. But I'm just going to leave this like this for now. And honestly, this could happen this week. So I'm going to keep that up there as well. And I have an alert just so I'm good. Alright, moving on to AU. Just out of curiosity, don't see how many people is in here real quick, you know what I'm saying? Since y'all still just staring at me. Sorry, be real fast, I swear. Alright, maybe there's a faster way to check this. Alright, 8 people watching, respect it. I feel like there's another way I can do that without looking. But anyway, sorry, hold on. There we go. Alright, so moving on to AU. So we're going to start at the weekly. So like this, the fact that the weekly time frame is like near a strong level of support in this kind of traffic Price is going to go up or down, and I really like this kind of stuff, so we're going to do good analysis on this. So same concept though. We look for a high point, which was here. This was the higher low, so this was an uptrend at this point. Price broke below. This is now a downtrend, and this is the lower low, and this is the lower high. At this point, price broke below again, so this is now the new lower low, new lower high. Price broke above, so this is now the higher high, higher low. And price did not break above again. But I don't know if I actually want to consider this a level, so I'm going to do this one more time. This is the high and this is the low. I definitely would call this a level. Yeah. This is without a doubt a level of support. But I don't know if I want to call it a lower low, but I'm going to because it held, so it's definitely significant. So yeah, this is the high and the low. Price broke below. This is the lower low, lower high. I'm gonna really put this thing in good detail. Price breaks below here. This is the new lower low. I don't know if I want to consider this the lower high or not. There's a lot of traffic in there. Well, I guess it doesn't even matter because price breaks below it anyways again. So price breaks below here, which would make this the new lower high, which is a lot clearer. I was just trying to debate if I want to consider this the lower high, but it doesn't even matter because price breaks below, making this a new lower low, and then you always have to go to the previous lower high after that. So this is the new lower high. Then price breaks below again. This is the new lower low, and I definitely wouldn't consider this a lower high. This is just looks like price was falling and it continued to go down. So I would keep this as the lower high. So we are in a downtrend on the weekly. Weekly is bearish. And then we're going to go to the daily. Bring my price over here so I don't get confused when I'm actually ready to make a trade. So again, we go to a high point. So this is the high, this is the low. Price broke below, low, high, broke again, low, high. Broke again above. So this is now the high and the low. Price breaks again, low, high. Price breaks lower, low, high. Price breaks above, high. And then I'm going to consider this the low because this is, I'd say this is pretty significant. Let me see how many pips this was. Yeah, 70 pips. And price definitely, like if you were to just look at this like this, right? And you pull this off of here, I would definitely say that this is a higher high, higher low. So I'm going to count that. And it's holding as a level. So this is the highest point, and we are bullish on this pair, on the daily. And this is the lower high. So until price breaks above this level or below this level, we are going to be bullish on the daily. And boy, is it close, but it has not broken. But it is close. So we'll see what happens. But again, I'm not predicting anything. I'm just analyzing the charts, and then I'm trading where it shows me. So on the daily, we're bullish. I really hope that there's some time frames to sync because we're like really close to a level. And I think that some shit is going to shake this week, and I want to be able to call it. So daily is bullish. This is the high. Unless we consider this a low. If we consider this a low, and based on candle closes, it is a low. I just don't really like to consider those because it's just not substantial. Like in retrospect, it really looks like price just kind of went like this. So I don't know if I want to call that a level or not. It took two candles to not engulf this point. Yeah, I think that that's just a little pullback, and I think that this is still, just going on. So this is a high. Do I want to count this as a low? Or this as a low? This is a doji candle. Yeah, this is just noise. I'm going to count this as the low and not this one. So I'm going to count this as a low, even though, this one's tough. So this is holding here. Right now, I'm just trying to see if I would count this area right here as a level of support, because that will really determine if I'm looking at this as a bullish or bearish market. and it definitely held a level. It's 2 touches for sure. And so now I'm just trying to look. If I look left, it definitely held here, and then it pumped for a while. It moved out of here a little bit, but it still held. But maybe this would be the level more so. Yeah, I'm just gonna play it a little safe, and I'm gonna call this the level. So this is the uptrend right now, the way that I see this market. So the daily is bullish on AU until it breaks below this. And if I miss this, man, there will be more, but I don't want to force nothing. So I'm gonna move to the 4 hour. Yeah, it's looking like we're gonna be able to take a trade until. Yeah, I mean, obviously this is bearish because this was a high point and this was a low, or even this was a low and price broke below both of them. Even if this, you consider this a low, price broke below all that. So the 4 hour is, I do think that price, I'm not gonna do big shit. We're just gonna call this what it is. 4 hours is bearish. Alright, unfortunately I can't really call that one, even though I think some shit is gonna shake on it next week. Alright, EJ, same thing. Weekly. See, this is the type of shit I do not care to trade. I need this price to be all up in here before I take it. Right now, this is like a subtle pullback, and it could go back up, and this is like a level, but I'm not interested in it, so I'm gonna move this down here. Did I do AU? Yeah. I really think that's weekly is bearish, daily is bullish, and the 4 hour is bearish. Maybe the daily I shouldn't debate on, thinking that the daily could be bearish. You know what? Because you actually have to go off this one, so this would be, I think I'm gonna actually consider this a lower low, a higher low, and so price did close below that. Yeah. I hope that I'm not confusing nobody. I am going to use this as, like I said, it counts. When you look at a line chart, it takes out a little bit of the noise because it doesn't encompass wicks. It only shows you the candle close. So if we were going off of candle closes only without wicks, at some point, even though it wasn't as significant as the rest of the chart, price moved up from here. It closed here, then it came here, it closed here, then it came here, and then it went here, and then it moved like that. So as you look at that, if you were to just pull this off the chart and look at it, this is still a trend. So like this is a higher high, and then the higher low, and then price failed to close above, so it's still an uptrend. And this is just market structure in between, but then it broke above, and this should be the new higher low. So I'm going to consider that because I just really think that we're going to have a big reaction on that because of where price is everywhere. So on the daily, I'm going to consider this as the highest point because that's non-debatable, right? It's the highest point in the market at this time, and this is going to be my higher low. I feel like it's a level of support that held for a while, for the whole week. Like this was on Monday, and all the way till, actually this was more than a week. This is on the 10th of May. So over a month, this level held, and then it finally broke below. So I'm going to use this as the higher low and not this point. And like I said, when you look at it with the line chart and it's actually objectively showing you candle closes, it's definitely a level. Alright, so hopefully I didn't confuse nobody. Ask questions if you got it, but the daily I'm going to consider bearish because with this being the highest point and this was the higher low, price just broke below. So now this is the new lower low and this is the lower high. Whether you want to consider this one the lower high or this one the lower high, this is the lower high. So the daily is actually bearish. Bearish. Alright, and so with that being said, the 4 hour is clearly bearish. Now, the same thing that I was saying earlier, so obviously we have all 3 time frames in sync, which is high probability setups, but now you have to wait for entries. And like I was explaining earlier, even though we know it's a sell, we don't want to just put a sell like this because you like to have your stop loss behind structure. So this is the structure way up here, 114 pips, and where you can expect price to react from is like anywhere in these areas. So even if you consider that one or this one, you still aren't even getting a one-to-one trade. So I like to see pullbacks on these kind of trades. And so what we do at this point is look for areas of interest on the daily and on the weekly. So again, an area of interest is nothing more than a support or a resistance level. And the way that we define support and resistance levels is by identifying a place in the market where price has reacted at least 2 times, but the more the merrier and the stronger. So what we do is just literally what's actually happening, which I don't like to do because it gets confusing, is you trap price. Oh, Jesus Christ. You trap the price in the within your highs and your lows, and then so price is currently at this point, so we're going to move backwards to and so from this area that I'm looking at, I'm just trying to see where price had the most touches. And so actually we're kind of at one right now. Let's see, because we're looking at kind of close. So that's a close, that's a near close, that's a close. Yeah, so I would look at this one as one. Yeah, because you see price was holding as support here. It had a heavy reaction here, but then it acted as resistance. So now price is closing below, failed to close, and then went back down, but then it broke above, and then it acted as support, and then, you just have reaction. So there's a reaction in this area, there's a touch and reaction here, a touch and reaction here, and then a reaction here, and then a touch and reaction here, and then it broke above, acting as support. It touched and reacted here. So I'm going to call this a strong area of support and resistance, also known as an area of interest. Hopefully that wasn't confusing. I feel like that turned to it. And another one that I'm going to consider is actually here. And I usually like to only do 2. Again, my point and plan is to just try to get as close to price as possible. I don't really care to try to find areas of interest way up here because price is all the way down here. So I'm looking for 1 or 2 on the daily and the weekly. And I would argue this could be 1, 2. I'm going to go to the daily to look at it. So on the daily, this is actually another one right here. I want to see if so there's 1, 2, and 3 touches right here. So I'm gonna use this one. So again, with this box, all I'm trying to do is just grab as many candle closes as I can. So this was a candle close here, a candle close here, a candle close here, and then reactions here. But I'm counting it based on these 3. So if I can get since price kind of already broke in this area, I would either want to see it push down a little bit more and create another lower low and then create a lower high, and then I would take it like this. Or what I would rather is price come all the way back up to here and then go down. But again, if either of these 2 play out, I'm definitely going to be available in the market to take it. But these are the 2 things that I'm going to be looking for on AU. And this is why, because we got 3 time frames in sync. So now we're just waiting for a better setup so we can have a good risk to reward to take the trade. So I'm going to keep AU up there, and I do need to set some alerts. So what I'm going to do, since this is a hard line, is I'm going to just set some alerts real quick. So if price is closing below this on the, actually kind of want on the 4-hour. So on the 4-hour, if price is closing below this, I want to look for sales. Again, if y'all got questions about anything, if I'm saying terms that are foreign or you just have a question about trading, feel free to ask. I'm almost done with my analysis. I think I just got 3 more pairs and then I'll be good. And then we just hit an hour 2. Alright, so I'm going to do, if price closes below this, then I want to look for sales. But I actually want to make sure if you get a pullback, because if price just keeps pumping and doesn't show any kind of lower high, then I'm not going to take the trade because I need to have a level to put it above. And even though I've identified this as a level, I want current price to show me that it had a pullback. So something like this broke above, and you see it had a pullback and it stalled and then it went up. If something like that can happen here, I'm gonna be interested. But it has to have a pullback because this shit has been going for a while, as you can see. Alright, so that's AU. So NJ. Yeah, see, this type of stuff I'm not interested in. I want price to come at least down to like here before I take the trade. So I'm gonna move NJ down. GJ, same thing. Not interested. And gold. Gold is starting to have some market structure, and it's bullish. So it's clearly bullish on the weekly. This is the highest point. This is the high low. Unless gold, does gold not open on Sunday? Because if this candle closed like this, then it actually is a bearish market now, which could be good for sales. But I guess it's not open yet. But it's bearish on the weekly if that's the candle close, and I guess it gotta be because it's gonna open up on the new week. It should be a new candle. So yeah, the weekly is bearish. Daily is bearish because this is the yeah. If you consider this the higher low, then it's bearish now. And this is kind of like a head and shoulder. Yeah, it could be sales on gold. Yeah, oh yeah. And now, so same thing. So this is obviously an area of interest. So you can see that this is a reaction here, a reaction here, and a reaction here. So 3 touches on the 4 hour, which I kind of like to do my support and resistance levels on the higher time frames. But you can see it's still kind of held at support and closed below. So I would be interested to see gold do something like this before I took it. But I definitely think that gold could go down because it's bearish on lots of time frames. So yeah, the weekly just closed below. So it's bearish on the weekly because this is the high, this is the low, it's closed below. On the daily, this is the high. But actually, unless I would count this as a low. This is the high low, and it just closed below, so it's bearish on the daily, and on the 4 hour it's clearly bearish, but it's pumping. So I want to, like I said, I want to see a pullback before I'm interested, and I probably will set an alert because if I see, like I was telling you, like the doji candles like this, if I see that happen on this pullback or it stalls like this and then goes, I'm definitely interested in this trade. So what I'm gonna do is set an alert, crossing up, and I'm going to say look for sales. Alright, and like I said, I like to have my reasons why, just so I'm not having to like second guess in the middle of a trade when it's like pulling up on me. Weekly is bearish. Also bearish. The 4 hour is also bearish. Alright, US30. I think this is my last one. I started with GBP-CAD, right? No. Or maybe I just pulled it down. Can y'all remember if I did GBP-CAD analysis yet? Oh yeah, I think I just wasn't interested because it's so high. Maybe I should tag those different colors so I don't get confused. But anyways, I just got to do US30 now. So weekly is bullish. I actually kind of like the way this is looking because this has pulled back and it's giving me a doji and it's near an area of interest. But nonetheless, we'll do the analysis and not try to predict. So weekly is bullish. Daily is also bullish. Easy to identify because this is the highest point and then this is the lowest point after the higher high, and price did not break below, so the daily is also bullish. Bullish. And we got the 4 hour remaining, so 4 hour. We got good market structure up in here. Yeah, this could be real good for buys. So obviously this is the high point and this is the low. Price broke below, so it's bearish here, higher high. But then it broke again below, and so this is the new high, lower low. This is the lower high. So price is actually, this is the lower high, and this right here is the lower low. I think my son just hit his head. I heard my ass third just now. Alright, so 4 hour, this is bearish. And so honestly, especially with the way that US30 moves, I wouldn't be interested in this trade until price breaks above to make this a bullish market. So at this point, it would be breaking above, but I want to see it break above and then have a retest and then continue to go up because it's bullish on the daily and the weekly. So it's only a matter of time before the 4 hour catches up to it. But again, I'm not predicting shit. I'm just gonna wait to see it play out. To be honest, I do believe, because I'm just kind of looking at this. This was an area that it was holding as resistance here, and this is a 4 hour time frame, so that the analysis doesn't hold as much weight as the daily and the weekly, but nonetheless, this is without a doubt a level, right? Because like I was telling you, 3 touches. So we have a reaction here, we have a touch here, it held here, and then it stalled here, it respected it here, like all of this is now holding, and it tried to pump hard right here, and it did not close below. So I do think that price can go up from here, and if I wanted to take the trade, I would take it like this and just put my price below. But Jordan will tell you all about lick sweeps and all the fancy terms, but I think that this could be a good trade just till you get to the target, depending on how aggressive you want to trade. Because I do think that that's a level that was held, but I just don't really fully feel comfortable taking that like that because US30 be on some shit. And on the daily, that doesn't even really look like that much of a level. So, actually, I'm lying. Look at this. Oh yeah, but the level is really down here, a level that I would respect. So if we count these, yeah. So I'm counting this reaction here, this reaction here, this reaction here, and then you see it. So it was holding and acting as an area of support here because price failed to break below. But then when price did break below, it respected this level now as resistance, and then once it broke, it went far. So this actually is a level, but price is not near there yet. So if the daily is bullish, so I would be interested. Because, like I said, as long as we have 2 time frames in sync, we can take the trade. So the 4 hour we identified as bearish. And so when you look at the 4 hour, we need it to break below here for it to be a further bearish market, or break above here for it to become bullish. But as long as we have 2 time frames in sync, we can still take the trade. So this I have as a decent area of interest because it's acting as support right now. So if price came here, I would still actually be interested in buys because we still have 2 time frames in sync. So I don't need the 4 hour to go bullish for me to take this trade. I'm not going to be blue. But what I am going to do, like I said, is set an alert so that I'm ready in advance. Crossing down, and then I want to again, in the way that I enter the market is I like to see, in a perfect setup, I like to see doji candles like these type of candles right here. How you have a wick on both sides and then a smaller body. If I see this kind of thing happening in this area of interest, I'm in there for sure. And I'm going to have the alert letting me know ahead of time. And then I'm going to take that. So let's see, we can put this up here. So these are the 3 pairs that I'm interested in. And I got my alert set for them. Again, if you have any questions, why do I have it? I should got a ways to go. I'll put this one down here. I just like the structure, I think is what it was. But yeah, that's it. That's all my pairs. If there are no questions, I cut the time down by 50 minutes, which I'm pretty proud of. But yeah, I'm gonna open the floor for questions. If there are no questions, I appreciate y'all greatly for hopping in here. Again, I know I talk pretty fast. I've been trying to do better with speaking slower and clearer. But if you guys have any questions, the same way that I had this YouTube video structured, I'll go through this one and I'll have like timestamps for everything that I explained, so you guys can kind of come back and visit this without having to go through all my rambling. But I hope y'all got something out of this, and we will see what next week brings us. And if there are no questions, y'all be blessed. Alright. Put some threes in the chat if you're still here, or if your phone was just on and you ain't even watching what's going on. I'm curious. I knew it. Y'all ain't shit. USD CHF if you got time. Appreciate it, CJ. And I got you, Jordan. So USD CHF. Awanda. Alright, so weekly. Oh, this is looking good. It's definitely what I would argue is an area of interest. Just had a quick glance on the weekly. Thanks, bro. Do you do all your research on a specific site or in Meta? Drew asked me, do I do all my research in a specific site or in Meta? So MetaTrader is actually the only thing. I only use MetaTrader to place a trade. I do all my analysis on TradingView, which is this website that we're on right now. And I think by research you meant like the analysis, like kind of what I'm doing now. This is on TradingView, which is where I do my analysis at. But so weekly, we're gonna go. Let's just look at just to kind of keep it in chronological order. This was a high. This is the low. Price at this point broke below, making this. Did it break below right there? No, but it did here. So this makes it the lower low, and it now makes it a bearish market. So this is the low, and then this is the high. Price broke again here, so this is now the low, and this is the high. But then price broke above here, so this makes it the high and the low. So at this point, this becomes a bullish market right here. This is bullish, and then this is the lower high, and this is the higher high. But then price breaks a low below again here, making this the lower low, and this is now the lower high. And boy, did it get close to breaking again. That shit looks like it might be the exact. Nah, let's see. So price at this point, oh no, it never broke above. So we are in a bearish market on the weekly, undoubtedly, and it was close with. So that makes it even better. This is, if you asking for Pam, checking it out once off work. Appreciate you, D. Appreciate you stopping in, brother. So Jordan, honestly, bro, this I'm not gonna predict, but I will say that the weekly is bearish, and I will continue to go into all three time frames, and then I'll make my assessment. But the weekly is bearish. Now the daily. What is the daily looking like? So the daily, obviously, this was a high and a low, but it broke well below that. So this is now the low and the high. Then it broke again above, so this is now the high and the low. Then it broke above again, so this is the high and the low. But then it broke well above that, so this is the highest point. This is the higher high on the daily. And this is the same kind of thing I ran into on, I think it was EURGBP. Wait, am I? Okay. This looks like it was highlighted. I'm like, am I doing analysis on EURGBP? So this is the highest point, right? And this gets subjective. To me, I like to see actual reaction and not just candlesticks closing. So like, granted, this held as a level, but truthfully, it looks like this moved here. Then this is like a substantial pullback, right? But then at this point, I don't really consider this too substantial. So this looks like it just kind of stalled and then came up. So to play it safe, I'm not considering this right here a level. So with that being said, the daily has a high right here, and this is the low. And I guess I did all that for nothing, because even if you consider this the low, it broke below all of that. So the daily is bearish. I hate when I do all that, and then I realize if you just keep looking, you're not even going to have to worry about it. So the daily, what did I say for this video? Bearish, right? Yeah, the weekly was bearish, and the daily is also bearish, clearly. Bearish. 4 hour. So already, you can take sales on this, because the way I trade, at least, because you have 2 time frames to sync. But the daily, the 4 hour actually just turned bullish. It was bearish this entire time. This right here I would consider a level just because it held for so long and price pushed down so far. But if you didn't want to consider that a level and you consider this the lower high, then you have all 3 time frames in sync. But this is undoubtedly, this price broke below again here, then it would make it easier to say that it was bullish. So let's see, but I don't think it did. Oh yeah, it did. Okay, so so this was the low, right? And then this was the high. Well, I guess it doesn't matter whether you want to consider this the high or this the high. This was the low, but then price at this point broke below this point. So now this becomes the new lower low. And then I love when this kind of thing happens because then it makes it clearer for you because you don't have to worry about this because this, without a doubt, is a lower high, right? So if this is the lower low and this is the lower high, this is now a bearish market, but then price breaks above. So on the 4 hour, this is bullish. This is the lower, this is the higher high now, and this is now the higher low. So on the 4 hour, we got bullish, and we're going to put this near price. But even though the 4 hour is bullish, and we're starting to see depletion candles anyway, now we just got to find areas of interest. So we are on the daily, and this looks good, bro. Like the guy who taught me a lot talks about a head and shoulders pattern, which is a very strong reversal pattern. And you'll notice that this was I don't like doing it like that. So you'll see that this is the head, and this is the right shoulder, and this is the left shoulder. This right here, you would argue either this is the neckline, or maybe this could be the neckline, but either way, it broke the neckline and then it continued to push, and it's kind of coming back to that area. But even if you don't want to consider the neckline and all that, you had a head and shoulders pattern, so it just became bearish, and now it's having a pullback on the 4 hour. But on the daily, without a doubt, I would argue that this is an area of interest, right? Because you have a lot of candles that failed to break below, and you have several touches. So this was on the 28th of March, and then all the way to the 9th of April, this level held, and then it pumped for a while, and then it came and tried to touch and break through. It failed again, and when it finally did, it went for a while. So I think that there's going to be a pullback here. Man, bro, I ain't gonna lie, I might put this bitch on the watch list this week. I just don't know how this pair moves, but it's price action, and yeah. Anyway, I would be very interested in sales at this point on this, and I would have it like this, and this would be a good risk to reward, having it above the structure. That's even a 30 pip stop loss, but yeah, I would want price to come back up to here. Yeah, before I would be interested in it. But you have 2 time frames in sync, and then the 4 hour is bullish, but I think it's just coming to retest the pullback. And again, like if you see some doji candles, like how these candles were, these were kind of like tap dancing up there. But like when you have like strong volume like this pushing up, and then you see a doji candle, and then a momentum candle following. And you see that near an area of interest, so like if you see that around here, I think that this would be a real good sell coming up. But yeah, I'm sell bias on that pair, and I think that, and I would for sure be waiting on the pullback to this area, and then I would like to see depletion candles like this, followed by momentum candles like that, and then I'd be in there. Great question. Sandy Peak's still in here. 7. By the way, I made this last night. At like 2 or 3 in the morning, I was analyzing all this. I think I started at like 1 or 2, and I have some other pictures on here too. But I'm gonna clean this up. I also have a Jesus, I got an Instagram for trading now, but it's nothing on there. It's just literally the page. So if y'all want to follow it, it's what is it? FX Demo Flow, but it's FX dot. I'll just put it. It's like this. FX.demo_flow. Check me out. Give your boy a follow. Shout me out on your page if this was helpful. Obviously, I'm not charging anybody, but I do want to get into teaching. So if you found this helpful, you can pay me by liking and subscribing and sharing, telling your friends, something like that. That would be greatly appreciated. I have spent a whole 80 minutes on here with y'all. So if you could pay it forward in that way. I swear to God, last week I called 4 trades, and if you would have risked 1% on them and went for the 2R, you'd have 8% in 1 week from your boy. So pay it forward by liking, subscribing, commenting instead of staring at me. You know, it would be greatly appreciated. But I'm gonna sit here for a little bit longer in case y'all have any questions. But if not, I'm about to go get some food. I am on I think I'm like almost 20 hours into my fast at this point, and my son crying. So yeah, if there's no more questions, I'm about to slide. Again, thanks for coming. Oh, I'm getting spam. Clicks for off Bitcoin. I came in late, so you would be taking a trade on bearish. Yeah, on this pair. You're talking about the USD Swiss franc, D? Yeah, for sure. And I'll explain why, and then I'm gonna hop off. So we got the weekly and daily both bearish, so 2 time frames in sync. And then what I was explaining is the 4 hour is bullish, but I think it's just pulling back up to an area of interest. And what I was talking about is this level has held as a very strong level of support for a while. On the daily, you can see it held as a very strong level of support. And if honestly, if we were to take this further out, you'll see it held in several aspects for a while, and then once it breaks below it, it goes for a while too. So you see it, price broke through, it failed to break above, and look how far it pumped down after that. And then when it broke above, look how far it went up. It stalled here, and then it broke below, went for a while, kind of played around here, but then it broke. So I would argue this is a very strong level of, I'll call it an area of interest, because sometimes it acts as support and sometimes it acts as resistance. But we have 2 time frames in sync. So what I would be waiting for on USD Swiss franc is for price to pull back up to this area, and when I enter anything on a 2 hour, 1 hour, 30 minute, or 15 minute, whichever one gives it to me first, I'm looking for depletion candles like this, but at an area of interest, or a shift of structure. So a shift of structure is exactly what we were describing. It's basically like a break in the trend, right? So if we're looking at a trend line here, Mark, if you're still on, I know you remember these days, brother. If you're looking at the trend line here, obviously it made a low, then a lower high, and then a lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, but then it broke above. So when you, obviously this was a real big one, so it would be hard to get in on this. But we're just looking for a break of structure at an area of interest, or we're looking for depletion candles like this at an area of interest. So even if you didn't get the shift of structure like this depletion candle followed by another candle that's pretty sizable, I would have entered, if I was buy bias, I would have entered this trade like this. Maybe like once it broke the structure here, and then I would have just put my stop loss, below my area of interest and kind of encompassing all the bodies. This is a 15 pip stop loss. I'm going for a 1 to 2, and we would have been out of there in 1 hour. I hope that answers your question, but yeah, I'm definitely very sell biased on USD Swiss franc. Actually, I'm going to set an alert for that because I really think that this has potential, Jordan. So crossing up, we're going to look for sales. Appreciate you putting me on game. Maybe I should add that for the week. Alright. Again, appreciate y'all pulling up. We had 8 people. I'm going to go through this video and add the tags for you, D, or anybody else who wants to come in and review or look at analysis or, anything of that nature. Please like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Comment on the video even after, or even if you come back and watch this, maybe just say this was helpful, or I would like to see this pair in the future. All of that stuff helps. So, again, appreciate it. And